So okay, so let's talk about the Arnold. Um
What was my pick? Did I have Sean Creed a second?
uh
I think so.
I think I was the only one that got the top three right.
Yeah, I didn't have Andrew in my top three. I had Andrew at like seventh or sixth.
Yeah.
But I did text you later, and I was like, I don't know, I might change it, even though it was too late. But
Oh
Yeah.
because
man,
after that fact, then I heard Aceto turn his words around. He seemed pretty stoked
Yeah.
on the last one. Yeah,
Basically we were all wrong.
yeah,
So
I
it
think
always happens like
Samson
that.
was like I think Samson was like the hybrid of Nick and Andrew in a way. Like
yeah.
because he had the muscle and he had aesthetics, but he wasn't the
This
extreme end of both, like two of those guys are. And he was just right in the middle of the top three
does
guys.
he have the best quads out of like any of the top Olympian guys? You know what I mean? His quads were insane,
They
bro.
were fucking round, man.
Like his quads next to Nick's quads,
Yeah, that was not. Yeah,
Yeah,
mind boggling.
especially at prejudging. That's
yeah.
when I
They were
really noticed. I was
they were
like,
nasty.
Well, that's
yeah,
where Nick definitely, I think, lost a lot of ground. I think he looked better at finals, but prejudging his legs definitely looked straight up and down those front shots next to those two guys. You know,
yeah. It's weird because it's almost like hit from the waist up, he got better, but from the waist down, it's almost like he didn't. Like he got
yeah.
worse. I mean,
Me, this was like his most unappealing look that I've seen,
in some shots.
I would say. Yeah, I mean, he's always crazy from the side. I don't think his back lat spread was that crazy. His back double's always good. His
Yeah,
side shots are
Yeah,
crazy, but his front shots, like I just like, especially when you're next to Andrew and Samson, like your
yeah,
front shots do not look good. Like they just
no,
when you're shaped like that.
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, Andrew in the front shots is like a fucking wash, right? Like he just, I think he wins
yeah,
almost all of them. The only thing is, I would say maybe in the front double bicep, his arms were looking like a little thin, which is crazy to say because I'm pretty sure he's got like some of the craziest arms, right? But for whatever reason, like in that pose, maybe the way he's posing it, or I don't know, like he got too flat, but they definitely look a little downsized.
I think he would be better off just not doing that little like classic twist that he does.
I don't like
I
that
agree.
either. I don't know why people
I
like
agree.
it. He has no
He,
tape. He loses lats. You know what I mean when he does it.
his chest gets small, and I think one thing he does too is contracts his lats a lot. Like
Yeah,
he does front lat spread, he contracts his lats, like he doesn't let him hang, and he
Hmm.
does the
right.
same thing on his front double. It seems. I think he could just be way better on those two poses. He's already good, but I think he just could be better.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think he definitely does have to work on his posing. Nick's posing is like pretty good for most things, but I noticed he changed the way he did his most muscular, which I didn't like. He started bringing his
yeah. It
hands
made him
down
look.
farther
His
instead
waist
of
looks so long, or like
exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't
and
know,
it
or
kind of like it
threw off
basically
his
just like
sort of.
shrinks you, like it makes you less wide.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that.
And then his front double, I don't know, he could still fix that. Like I think if he like did a little bit of his off, like shift of the hips to, you know what I mean? He poses his legs so straight up and down. I just don't know if that,
Yeah,
you
it's
know what I
it's so
mean?
it's so tough at that level, right? Because it's like
Oh yeah, I know.
even when, and this is the way like I've experienced it too, is even when someone tells you like do it this way, for some reason you still like that he might
Yeah,
these people might have people telling them like do it this way,
right.
but when they're on their own, they're just like, man, I just love the way this looks.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
you just always go back to like your habit, right?
right.
Because I've done that.
Yeah,
I don't know. But again, it's like you have to keep working on it. If this really is like something that could take you from third to first, like that should be a fucking priority, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Because I mean, what else does he fix? You know, coming off of this, like, what is he? I mean, I'm sure he'll find somebody to get better because he's Nick, but you know, it's like
yeah,
posing is really the main thing. And because I mean, what else could he have done? I mean, came in a little fuller, but I
yeah,
mean, that's not something you fix really, you know, until the next show.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. When you're that big at that height, it's hard to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I mean, like
Well, in a
people
short
like
amount of time too, right?
he needs more quad sweep, but like when you're shaped like that, it's not just like, oh, I'll do my squats deeper. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Well, his
so
hams, you can't even go deep. You see when he does his freaking hack squats, his hamstring is like touching before he's even parallel to his
yeah, his
calf. It's like,
hamstring
what the
touches my
fuck?
ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But I mean, he's obviously still going to be like a top guy in every show he does for a while.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's always going to be there. So there's nothing wrong with that. And then Big Ram, he got fourth, correct?
It was a good
Yeah. I
Rammy.
mean, yeah, I would like to
Very
look,
good.
honestly. I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews, but I really like the look. His back double looked really nice. He was in really good condition in some spots, and then some spots, you know what I mean, was like not. That's the problem, is like the condition has to be consistent. You know what I mean? You can't just be shred from the back. You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do
Same
you think he
kind of thing
can,
with Samson. Like in my opinion, when I saw him at first, I was like, certain things don't match. But the more that
Well,
you
that's
look
what
at it, the more you see like when you fit it all
yeah.
together, he's kind of, it makes the most sense.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you guys because it sounds like a lot. I mean, I'm happy with it, but I know a lot of people are upset that Nick didn't win. But so, what do you think about judging criteria? I feel like Nick wins because muscularity, condition, symmetry, front to back. Like Samson's back is
Aesthetics.
very narrow. Yeah, but does that so that trumps? I'm asking you, I guess,
You know what?
over like judging criteria.
The
You
way
know?
I see it is it does because that's like the essence of bodybuilding. Like no matter what era you look at, the most aesthetic guy always won. Didn't matter how, big someone was. Even like when you look at like guys like Frank Zane or like guys in those eras when they were even on the smaller side and the really small guys didn't win and they're like, oh, they're more aesthetic. They're not more aesthetic. There's a balance that's like the most aesthetic. You know what I mean? And we're slowly getting there. You know what I mean? Like with these fucking guys that you're seeing right now that are winning now, like Samson and fucking Andrew. That's the direction we're going. It's like aesthetics comes first, and then muscularity and conditioning and symmetry.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean,
But
I love it. I like the
yeah,
direction because like it's a representation of bodybuilding and our what we love. And you know, sometimes when you go to someone that doesn't know bodybuilding, you say, or you want to show them who the best bodybuilder in the world is. You're not necessarily want to show them Big Ramy, right? Because then you got to
yeah,
explain like because they're gonna look at him and be like, what the hell, like.
yeah,
Whereas like you show Samson, you know, or Andrew, it's like, all right, I can get behind this, you know,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
or
those
even
guys,
Derek, or you know,
they look like Greek gods. Like they look like they
yeah,
actually
yeah,
look
exactly,
like statues. Like they're balanced, like nice big legs, like just balance all over. Not like short, stocky legs and a big long
right,
torso. And like
Yeah,
like that. I think, and that's what the direction I think it should go because the more this sport grows, the better it is for all of us.
yeah,
And it needs to appeal to more people, and that's how they're going to do it. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Obviously like Nick has his place 100%. Like we need the freaks, but like should the freaks be the face of our sport? Like when there's
yeah,
more balanced pre physiques and the guys are still huge. Samson's up there
Yeah.
290 on
yeah,
stage. Like
I
geez,
think I think
right,
people, yeah, I agree, man. I think people just get carried away with bodybuilding being all about conditioning and size because it's not just that. Aesthetics always fucking comes first, man. Because
balance is so
we everybody always starts training because they want to look better, and then comes the rest. Oh, I'm gonna get bigger because I think it'll make me look better.
well, you kind of realize like where your body's going and like what your strengths are, and then you have to
Yeah,
max those out. Like Nick's not gonna
right.
try to be an aesthetic bodybuilder. Like he can just slab a shit ton of muscle on like a not a big frame, and it looks crazy when it's all bunched up together like it is, and he can get shredded, right?
he's just gonna make what he's got as aesthetic as he can for what he's got. Like
Yeah,
he works a fucking shit ton on his waistline. That is so
I was gonna say he's
evident.
done a yeah, yeah,
He's probably the most consistently like on point with his waist control over everybody else. And
yeah, because
yet
he
he's
can,
not born with a good waist. Oh well,
yeah,
he's making the fucking best of it.
yeah,
That's why he's
yeah,
a champion, right?
yeah,
But again, at the end of the day, judging criteria, we're looking at bodybuilders here. And I do think you have to pick aesthetics when aesthetics is also big and also conditioned.
yeah. I think the judges just get to decide what direction they want the sport to go in. Like
yeah.
I'm sure they
Yeah,
talk
That's
about
true.
stuff. Like this is what we
yeah,
want going forward. This is what we're going to reward.
yeah.
If it comes down to this guy and this guy, we want these guys to win. I'm sure they talk about it. You know what I
And
mean?
and it's just like human nature where you're like just in that moment, you're just like, that's crazy to me. That one right there, that's the one. Like you don't have to think about it that much. It's not that complicated. They're probably not going, well, there's a little bit more muscularity. Maybe they have those conversations sometimes, but usually it's just like boom, that decision is
Yeah,
quick.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure you're sitting there on the judging panel, right? And you're looking at Nick, and you're like, that is insane.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
those legs are kind of a little weird in the front compared to that upper body. And then you have these two massive men next to him, which are like extremely balanced, also very conditioned, nailing their posing, like just looking like amazing up there. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of like, yeah, that's like a better overall look. Like those guys have everything. This guy has a lot of new things, but these guys are good at everything. Like, you know,
Where does your eyes get drawn to?
dude, Samson on
Yeah,
that
there you
show,
go.
like usually
There
it's
you
Andrew
go.
for me. Usually if Andrew's on stage, I cannot look at anything else. But Samson's upper body thickness compared to Andrew
It was
had me looking.
overpowering. Yeah.
It was way overpowering, man. He looked fucking crazy, and he was
The,
matching Andrew on the quads, which is hard to
yeah.
do.
The back thing, sure. He could use more back, better glutes, but the chest thickness, the arms, the delts, the quads.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that's going to hold Samson back is not being able to get hard in the back of the glutes.
He won with straight first though, so I don't think that's even an issue. And he's
But
just
I
going to
mean,
get better.
I think it could be though. Like, you know what I
It could
mean?
be
Like,
if there was like, then you take the upper body density on Andrew and fill that out, and then add glutes to that. Then obviously Andrew wins all day.
but like this, either any of these people have a chance against Derek Lunsford when they turn around.
That's the thing. See, that's the only
Derek
thing that
Lunsford's
us
back.
white guys can hope for is like we're gonna have the most shredded glutes.
Yeah,
That's why. See, Nate, that's why we're fucking obsessed with glutes. We're like, that's all we
Yeah.
got. We
yeah.
need it.
You need to have it, dude. You can't be a white dude
Yeah.
up there with
Yeah,
fucking fat ass.
No,
yeah,
It doesn't work like that, man.
no.
It
yeah.
doesn't work like that. You know?
So
I mean, honestly, I was looking at all three pretty equally. Like they all were so impressive. You know what I mean? It
I was
was
too. Yeah.
pretty crazy. They just all had their own strengths, I felt like. And
That
it
was
was
a
just a
good
great,
show.
great top three. I mean, that was just one of the best shows in a while that I've seen, you know.
Yeah, man.
It wasn't even like
And it was like the excitement from like Friday to Saturday. Like I think we all felt that, you know what I mean? Because we had no idea. I didn't have any idea. I don't know if you
yeah,
guys had an idea where they were going with it, but it seemed like a lot of people were sort of like, which who
dude.
are
I
they
had
going
a
to choose?
feeling Samson was going to get it just because, and that's only because from what I watched, it seemed like he spent a lot of time in the middle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But yeah, and they just and again, just looking at them, it's like because I mean, when you watch stuff bodybuilding shows, like especially pro shows, it's almost like it's just that guy that isn't the extreme of anything. It's just the guy that's like
yeah,
most complete overall, and
mm,
that's what Samson like seemed like he was to me. But
I think what I was doing was I was trying to, as I was watching, I was trying to justify Nick winning. I'm like, I could see how he can win this. I could see how he can win this. But then when they announced Samson, I was just like, yeah, like I totally like I was just like not looking at that. I was just trying to look at something else,
yeah,
yeah,
you know. But yeah, it was crazy. What about Clarita though? It's way too
yeah.
small,
It's
man.
crazy. I
Too
mean, it's
small.
crazy though. Like if you think about it, like if it wasn't the Arnold, he got overshadowed, but he beat William Bonac and pretty good Akeem Williams. Like
That's true.
it's
Yeah.
pretty insane. Like if that was an open show and he beat those two guys, like that would be like the talk of like the week.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
That's
same.
I think it was totally cool that he did the Arnold because he obviously he won an open show before, so he has every right to do it.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, I think like after that, you're kind of like, you know, I mean, sure, if he wants to win a small open show here and there, he can do what he wants.
yeah,
But I don't know. I feel like if I was in that position, I just want to be the 212 king, man. You
yeah. I
know,
mean, the discrepancy is too much. I think
yeah,
just as
yeah.
no matter how big he gets, just the height of like he's 5'1", 5'2", like
it would
that's
make more
tough, man.
sense if he was like a 212 guy that was like he could barely make weight for 212 and still be good, but like he could
Right.
compete at like 230. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like then I would kind of see that being more applicable, but it's like when you're not even filling out the 212, like
Yeah.
Yeah, I
go
know.
and just go over there and crush everybody and be 30 pounds lighter than them all. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome. Like, you
All
know,
right.
It would have been cool if they did some Samson and Clarita comparisons though.
Yeah.
That would be
yeah.
fun.
They did it.
But
They had him next to Big Ramy. That was pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty wild. Yeah.
Grammy's quads are just like
Yeah.
ridiculous. It doesn't even look real.
One quad is like his whole body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like his
Pretty
torso.
much.
It's literally his torso.
But it's cool that he was in the show because he was kind of like the bookend to like have like the standard of conditioning. It was like, okay, Nick's gonna be conditioned, Clarita's gonna be conditioned. If I want to be anywhere like in the top, I gotta be as conditioned as them.
Right.
Yeah, he was definitely like a wild card. He brought excitement to the show. I'm
Yeah,
100% glad I'm 100% glad he was in it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what about like a Akeem? Conditioning wise, I feel like he was definitely not his best, but overall he was pretty good.
It's
But
a
it's
pretty
like
good package, I think, overall for him. I mean, It's about as good as I feel like. I mean, he's probably been a little bit better, but I mean, it's not that far off. I think
If he just
He's
got
been
his
it's just
around
back
for a
dialed
while.
in.
it's just a tough show. Like, you know what I mean? If you're not,
Yeah.
one of those top guys, you're sort of getting not talked about, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be able to get to a certain level of condition to win like those types of shows. Like,
Yeah.
you can't not being big. Like, it's
Why do
so
you
yeah.
guys think some people get into condition and some don't?
I think it's
I
got to
mean,
be
definitely
genetic.
genetics. Some. I mean, there's some people that just obviously can't, but I mean, there's also like guys like
Really, really though, like really?
remember. I mean, no, I'm not gonna say it like that completely, but there is some people that are gonna get in condition easier. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yes.
mean, there's obviously like a guy, who's a great example is what's his name, Hassan Mustafa, right? No one he can never get in shape, and then everyone's like, he's never gonna get in shape, never gonna get in shape. And then he got with AJ, and AJ got him pretty peeled, I would say.
Yeah.
Remember? So there's guys like that where I sort of wrote off, but I mean, he ended up getting in shape,
It seems some of these,
But
like, some of the black guys have like thicker skin or something like that to me.
right?
Like, it just seems like there's a trend with some guys that their backside just cannot get completely peeled.
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel
that's
like
weird.
between, like Andrew, Samson, Akeem, you know, even I would even put Brandon Curry in that conversation, honestly.
Yeah, it's a weird phenomenon.
It is what
But
it is, man. I mean,
yeah,
my
but
shoulder.
again, there's a bunch of pros, black or white, that can't get glutes in.
well, I
So
mean, there's definitely guys that are too worried about losing muscle and fullness. You know what I mean? So I mean,
yeah.
that's definitely a case in open bodybuilding.
Well, and
There's a
that, but
lot of
that's
guys.
the thing too, right? It's like a lot of guys are talking about they're not chasing the glutes. Like we might chase glutes, but other guys they don't chase glutes because once they get to a certain point, oh now my physique doesn't look as good or whatever they think.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's just like if you I've heard I forget who talked about this. Maybe it was Fuad or something like that with Samson or something like that. But if they pushed harder to get lower in weight, at some point the glutes would come in. I wouldn't they? They'd have to if you just keep getting leaner.
yeah. I think it's
But
more of a case of like some guys maybe don't striate, but you can see like when people like they're shredded and like the thinness of the skin on their ass, and it's
yeah,
like getting that like almost like see-through type, because I've seen guys that have like nice boxed out glutes and they're not like striated, but you can tell they're peeled because like the skin is like very thin, right?
yeah, and maybe that's
That's
why like a lot of the times you can't really tell like through like a live stream. Like you have to be there in person to see that thinness of the skin. Like especially like on someone with darker skin, you're not going to see that with shadows and stuff like that on a live stream. So it's going to look like it's not. If you don't see the striations, because that causes further shadowing.
Yeah.
maybe some people's muscles just aren't striated that as much as other people's. Like, like I
Yeah,
Oh
feel
yeah,
like
definitely.
I feel like my glutes have like super deep lines, like they're like it's like notches like the whole way down,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of guys that have that, so it could just be the development and the way the muscle is like shaped under the skin. Maybe some people have like a smoother glute. I was just listening to Vince Taylor on a podcast, and he was saying that he always noticed that guys that had like squared off glutes had better striations. He had more of like a round like glute, and he said
Yeah.
his options are being smooth. He get pretty peeled.
yeah.
So I mean,
We're probably all just like biased and like we just like we assume that's just like the thing that everybody should be able to get. At least for me, I'm like everybody should be able to just get glutes. But maybe you
I
guys
think
are
it's
right.
just like I think it's just whether you want to admit it or not in bodybuilding, that's like a conditioning check, like that
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
people always look for, and they're like, oh, he has striated glutes, like he's in shape. Like no one's gonna say you're out of
Yeah.
shape if you have striated glutes.
it's
Right.
true.
So it's just
Yeah,
like a standard for this.
I can see it. Just glutes and then like the green check mark on Instagram.
Yeah.
Glutes in check, tan on check. Okay,
Striated glutes
ready.
verified.
Yeah. But the lower back though, it's still not in. But it doesn't matter. That's not deserving of a check. It doesn't really matter. But we know better. We know better. Okay, I had a good question for you guys. If you had to pick one pro from the Arnolds that you think that you're the most similar to physique wise, who would you pick and why?
Uh,
Oh man.
I would probably pick Andrew Jack, I guess.
Solid pick. I mean, yeah,
Well, I just mean
Oh
like
man.
structurally,
yeah,
like we're the same height. I mean, he's way wider than me in the shoulders. We both got big quads. like relatively small waist. Like that's the only reason I say that. Like, who else am I going to say?
Yeah, no, yeah.
You know,
I mean, probably Nick. I mean, just because like more like conditioning, graininess, that kind of stuff, hardness. I mean, there's not really anyone else I think that sort of. I don't know.
yeah,
It's weird. I don't really feel like I have a lot of people that have like I have maybe a different physique, but it's like because I have a little bit of a mixed bag. I feel like I have conditioning, but also some shape, but it's not like that amazing shape. You know what I mean? It's like sort of a lot of stuff's in the middle. So that's all right. I mean, and there's a lot of black guys in the show, so
Yeah. What about you, Robin?
I don't know, man. Like, I guess Nick. Like, who else am I gonna pick? Justin Rodriguez? Like really? Like, who would you pick for me?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe a Justin Arkeem, like because your front
Yeah,
double was
I
like
would
pretty,
honestly
like
probably pick Justin. Yeah.
Hey, man,
Dude,
I'll
Justin
take
looks
it.
because you
That's
guys are
great,
like
man.
similar height, but like you're pretty like
I'm taller
muscular.
than
You know what I mean?
Justin,
Like, yeah.
but if I was as wide as Justin, I would not be fucking upset with that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll
You're
do
pretty
it.
Right.
wide, bro. You're
Seventh at the
pretty
Arnold,
wide.
seventh at the Olympia, 100%.
You're
Right.
pretty wide, bro.
Wide as fuck. He did beat me last time at New York. So if he shows up this year, I'm getting fucking redemption.
He fucking better not.
Hey,
He better not
he better
because
not.
I
he needs to
mean,
take time off. That guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
He's
know
been
anyone
gone
doing
for a
New York?
while. No one
I
big,
know Carlos is doing it.
Oh yeah, I saw that as well.
but no
I
one like
I
seasoned
know
that's
Nate's
like a
doing
front
it. He
runner.
told me. Uh,
I know Brent Swanson's doing it.
who? Oh,
Brent Swanson.
okay. Yeah. He's good.
Yeah, he's not bad. He gets peeled crazy
Yeah.
insane, but and then who else? There's someone else I think, but no one like no front runner big names. Honestly, it's wide open. Oh, you guys know Gabriel, right, from your guys' area?
Oh, yeah. He told me that. I
Okay.
forgot. Sorry, that was my
Yeah, I
bad.
think he said he's
GG.
doing it.
Yeah. Shout out
Um,
to Gabriel Girepi.
but I haven't heard anyone like big names, and a lot of people from the Arnold, like Andrew said he's sitting out, Bonak's sitting out, Patrick's doing Cali, um, Nick's qualified, Samson's fine. Justin said he's actually sitting out, but he could change his mind. You never know with him.
Yeah.
And then
I
I
think
mean,
all the
Hakeem might do
shows,
it.
all the shows at the end of the year, like close to the Olympia, are going to be fucking
No,
stacked.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah.
Stacked. Yeah, it's like Ian and Hunter and James and all
yeah,
those guys.
Yeah. I know.
And Antoine, Quentin.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Charles
bro.
Griffin.
I'm slipping in there early. I'm gonna
Yeah, exactly.
knock out a couple early shows this season and
Right,
enjoy the rest of the summer.
right.
Yeah,
Have you guys actually been to the Arnold's?
I went once.
I've been
Yeah.
to the Toronto Arnold's.
It's pretty massive. It's like a huge
It,
expo, and
it looks even bigger than the Olympia Expo. It's like twice as big,
yeah,
isn't it?
it's bigger. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
like I think they said when I went, it was like 200,000 people there,
Damn.
which is like ridiculous.
You
Yeah.
guys want to go next year?
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
I want to compete
Yeah.
in it next year. That'd be fucking amazing. I just want to,
That'd be dope.
yeah, get
Yeah,
up
that's
there.
good. Well, we'll definitely be there for competing in it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Be like
100%.
member of Canadian Beef Podcast.
Yeah.
You gotta give us a special invite.
I know one of the guys on the board.
Who, David? David Bay.
Not David. No,
I think he works for them, right?
I have no idea.
He's like one of the main guys now. Yeah, I think for the Arnold.
That's one of the best things about going to the Arnold of the Olympia is like you can try to meet these people.
Yeah,
know what I
definitely.
mean?
It's always good to network for sure, and like you never know what kind of like guest posing you might get, or connections you might meet, or
Even just getting to the
sponsors down the
Arnold's,
road.
or even just
Yeah.
competing at the Arnold Classic. I mean, you need to get an
Oh
invitation,
yeah, 100%.
right?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty hard to do if you don't
Oh
know
yeah,
if
definitely.
you don't know them and they don't know you.
Right.
Then why would they invite you?
Right.
Got to
I'm gonna
make a
get
case for yourself.
I'm gonna get up to 340 and go next year, and then get invited for 2025.
Yeah, my plan is just to win shows all year, get to the Olympia top 12, and then send my invitation directly that night.
You're like, I'm gonna do all that just for the
Send it to
invitation.
Arnold.
Exactly.
Arnold.
Exactly. They're gonna be
Don't give
like,
it to a
they're
person.
gonna be like, so
Oh,
how
my.
does this feel to do all this stuff? And I'm like, oh, we're not done yet. This was
He's
the
he's
real
a
plan.
riot. You guys see that there was a video posted of him. He's like doing splits and like smoking a cigar in his kitchen.
Who?
Arnold on Jim Fail Nation or something.
Really?
People are ridiculous. So they're like so upset that he's like still said like F your freedom or whatever like 2 years ago. It's like, bro, get over it. Like,
Dude, how could when they were getting on with that stuff about canceling him, I was like, how dare you people?
Like
dude,
who?
I know it's
None of your
ridiculous,
sports would even be significant if it wasn't for him.
right?
Like
And like people are
bodybuilding,
so sensitive.
powerlifting,
Like
strongman.
Dude,
people are so sensitive. It's
it's so
crazy. Like that they
sad.
still.
One person says one thing,
I know. It's
and
like,
people just want them to like, that's it, just cancel them.
and those are the same people that are like mad about the cancel culture though, which is like because they're Republicans. You know what I mean? They don't like
Yeah.
Arnold, but I'm not in either side. But I'm just saying, as a human being, it's like okay, you can forget about what these 3 words this dude said. That's not going to hold like any ground to you. Like it's like they're like what still like saying all this stuff on this like post or whatever. I'm like, wow,
Yeah, people just remember the stuff they want to remember because then
right,
if
right,
something you like says something like Donald Trump, for example. And now, mind you, I'm a Trump fan, okay? Not like a big
yeah,
fan, but like I agree with a lot of the stuff that he says. But
yeah,
I hear
early
you.
in his
Yeah.
presidency, he got caught saying a bunch of shit that a president should never say. But then
right.
people were just like they pick and choose, right? And same
Oh
thing
yeah,
when you
yeah,
about anybody, you know what I mean?
right,
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
but I mean, yeah, the audacity, like the Terminator, like fucking
Yeah, I
command.
know.
Like,
Right.
like
The
come on,
governor.
like give the guy
Right.
a pass, even if you are mad. Like
Yeah.
I
look what he
know.
brought the world. Like holy
Right.
shit,
Like I
you
hate
know?
the mask too and all this stuff, but I wasn't like butthurt over. I'm like, wow, okay, whatever. Like that's
Yeah, we're all dealing
it
with
is
the
what it
same
is.
shit,
But
you know. Like don't
yeah,
go. People are just looking for someone to blame, you know.
Yeah.
right.
Don't get mad at.
Exactly. It's like you lack compassion if you don't even like take into consideration the circumstance too. The guy was
Right.
probably just like he probably just said something like in that moment, and then he was like later on regretted it. Like many people have that fucking happen to them.
Well, I think he just
So
wanted to have the expo happen. You know what I mean? And that's all. Like he just wanted people to wear a mask so they be approved, and you know, and that's sort of why he was probably like fired up about that. And
yeah,
you know,
there's
it is
always
what it is. Whatever. Like we're all in. It was a very frustrating moment for everyone. You know what I mean? Like
mm-hmm.
so.
And also, like it's you got to note that like they all had everybody convinced that as soon as people started getting vaccinated, everything would just open back up and go
Right.
back to normal. And that wasn't the case. So that kind of also added fuel to that fire why people were so upset
Right.
about everything. You know what I mean? And I think that's what he was going for. That was my mindset when they were bringing out the
Yeah.
vaccine. I'm like, let's go, everybody, get the gyms open. Like, come on,
Right.
like, get your shot. Like, you know, I
Yeah.
wasn't afraid of the needle. Obviously, I was just like, oh, like needle number
Yeah.
4 this week, whatever.
Yeah. So you guys having any cravings yet or what?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't really, it doesn't really like bother. It's not like cravings, I guess. It's just like, those random, like when you're like, fuck, I wish I could eat a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I'm at.
Like, I'm not quite satiated enough.
I know.
My only,
That's what I was saying. Like even just like little changes, you're like, oh, I'm hungry now.
Right.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
My only carb source is rice right now. That's getting fucking
Yeah.
old.
rice and Rice Krispies, huh?
No, those are my dogs.
You give them to your dogs.
They're cheap dog treats, man. They're like $11 for like 50 something of those things. My
Oh,
dogs.
It's not good for them. You're just giving
I
them
mean, it's
fucking
not
McDonald's and
good
Rice
for them,
Krispies.
bro. It's Rice Krispies.
they're
It's
good for
fucking,
everyone.
it's fucking rice, dude.
Dude, I see what you give your dogs. You give them fucking Big Macs too.
That on his birthday, bro. It was
Oh, okay. It's not a regular thing.
no, man. They eat kibble. That's $160 a bag, in matter of fact, and white rice for three of their meals.
I thought you were
And no
just feeding.
joke.
Dude, I thought you were just feeding them like shit you were craving.
Yeah,
No
just eat
kibble,
all my
just
dog
Rice
food I'm
Krispies.
trying to get rid of. Yeah.
Fuck.
I just buy it and smell it and give it to them.
Okay, so sorry. What do you
And
get? You got a double Big Mac and fries?
For my dog?
Yeah, for his birthday.
No, they got a McDouble each and a medium fries each.
Nice. What'd you
oh
get?
man,
Nothing.
Just going in there, just getting the fucking McDonald's and just smelling it and just giving it to them, man.
like the opposite for the
Yeah.
dog. Usually the dog's like watching us eat, the junk food. They're
Yeah.
like, what
Well,
the
that's what it
fuck,
usually is,
begging?
man. Usually I come
Yeah,
in with fast food and they're like
roles
all over my
reverse,
grill, and I'll give them a few French
right?
fries. But this was the first time I like put it all in the bowl for them. I'd never seen them so happy in my whole life,
Dude,
man.
Yeah,
imagine
I
how
bet.
imagine how hilarious that is from a dog's perspective. They don't fucking know what their birthday is, man. They're just like, today's
Yeah.
fucking backwards day. Like
Yeah.
What's
he's
happening?
he's
Yeah.
lost his mind today. He went crazy
Yeah,
today. This is amazing.
Imagine how insane that, like, insanely good that tastes to a dog though. Because like they don't get the shit like that. And then like when like they're always hungry because like, they eat 2 meals a day, whatever, Like imagine if we ate like 2 meals a day, never had like a Big Mac, and then all of a sudden you're like, here's a Big Mac. You're like, oh my God, this is
yeah.
fucking amazing.
My dogs got it good because they're huge, and I understand that obviously 'cause I'm a bodybuilder.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I feed them kibble and rice 3 times a day because I'm just like, I got
Mhm.
to keep my boys sat tight.
Yeah,
Don't want them hungry and stuff like that.
right.
So, but yeah, they got it good, man. Jeez.
Yeah. Mine's got it pretty good too. Every freaking meal I give him like a little bit of piece of chicken or beef. Like he's like
Yeah,
such a beggar, but
you
I
got
don't
to,
know. I'm
man.
definitely a softie. Yeah.
It makes them so happy.
I know, I know. I love it.
Yeah.
What,
And I
dude,
think if you're gonna own a dog, man, you should spoil it. If you're not gonna spoil it, then don't own it
Yeah,
because dogs are
100%.
awesome and they deserve like the best.
I just can't get
definitely.
Layla to eat all of her like fucking pebbles. Because now I seen her doing this. And I caught her because I didn't understand what was happening. It's just there would just be a huge mess at the end. I'm like, how is there a huge mess at the end? Because she would take the food, so I'd mix it all together, but she would take the food and like chew it and swallow it and then spit out the pebble on the floor. I caught her doing it. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
That's funny,
So
man.
I don't know what to do. But I
Not
want
not
her to eat
liking
those
it. What,
fucking
what
pebbles.
kind of what kind of dogs do you guys both have?
I have two cane corsos.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have a
nice.
Chihuahua.
Like all black. Oh, two opposites. King
One
Yeah,
Corso and
one's
it
Chihuahua.
is two opposites. Yeah.
yeah, I got one that's all black and one that's like blue brindle.
Nice. That's beautiful.
One's
Those are
yeah.
expensive dogs, huh?
So my black one, Cedric, he's huge. He's like 145 pounds, but
Yeah.
I bought him, but I basically rescued him because
Ah,
he
okay,
came.
yeah. That's
He's
that's a
got
good
like
deal.
he's got a lot of aggressive tendencies though. Like he's a lot to
Yeah.
deal with. He'd probably be put
Yeah, yeah.
down. If anyone else owned him, he'd probably be put down. And
Wow.
then Rampage I got from Toronto. He was
Yeah.
3,500. He was like really
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah, but he's really good temperament. Like
Yeah.
anybody can come in and take him for a walk kind of thing,
Nice.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you get what you pay for. The
Yeah.
$800 dog is crazy.
Yeah.
Have you guys always had
The
dogs
dollar
your whole
discount
life?
dog.
Yeah, I've always had a
What's
dog.
that?
Have you guys had dogs your whole
Yeah.
life? Yeah.
Yeah, mostly, yeah. They're great. I mean, you can't really beat it. I mean, there's been like little points in my life where I just couldn't really take care of a dog properly. I've always been one of those people like I'm only like if I can take care of them like 100% and like spoil them and do what I got to do, you know what I mean? But I'm not those dog owners that like grab dogs and they just like don't really take care of them and sleep at home all day and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't really show
Yeah,
much affection. I'm like, why the fuck do you have a dog? I don't know.
it's the worst. Not
Yeah.
that bothers me. You see that way too often.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
people work a 9 to 5 job and then they get like a big dog, and it's like
yeah,
and
yeah.
you get home from work, they don't want to walk it and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, it's brutal.
Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah. I've lived in like buildings where people have like big dogs. It's like you're gonna walk that thing like once or twice a day for like 10 minutes. That's not nearly enough exercise. And
no,
the poor thing has to stay inside all day like that. Like kind of breaks your heart. That's why originally, like
yeah,
when I got a condo, I got Layla because she's a 6 pound chihuahua, so I don't need to take her on like huge walks, doesn't need a lot of space.
Yeah,
So
that's what I wish I had.
right.
I wish I had one small dog, honestly, because I love my dogs and I'm lucky that I work from home. I can take care of them. But I mean, it's hard for me to travel. Like I got to get my family to come
Yeah,
take care of them. Like not many people
yeah.
want to take 300 pounds of dog. Uh, so it would be awesome just to have like one little buddy that I could take around with me. I would love that.
yeah, that's
That's what I mean.
awesome.
That's exactly what I wanted. I was like sometimes, actually a lot of times lately, almost every single morning, the last like month, I just bring her to the gym with me in the morning when I go and do cardio, and she
Yeah,
just
yeah.
runs around. And then when I actually start doing my cardio, then I put her in her bag, and then after that, she runs around and I throw her toy around, so she gets a lot of exercise that way. and she fucking loves it, man. I'm like, I asked her, I'm like, do you want to go to the gym? And she'll literally go in her bag. She'll get herself ready, and then she'll just be like ready to go, and I'll just grab her with me, and then off to the fucking
Oh
gym.
yeah,
Like,
that's
you
sweet.
know what I mean? Or like I've
Yeah,
gone to grocery stores, dude. I just fucking bring her with me.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
so
just
easy, right?
yeah,
And she's small, so she doesn't, you don't have to worry about her hurting anybody. Like
exactly.
my
yeah,
dog,
yeah.
my dog could kill a motherfucker.
Dude, the
Like,
only
or getting into food. See
there's
mine.
only been like one or two times where someone's ever like said something like you can't have a dog when I have like a 6 pound chihuahua, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
but like relax.
I'm just like, you're not a good person.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, what? What did you just
what's
say
wrong
about
with
my
you?
dog?
I know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I
I'd
know.
be so offended.
Yeah, when I'm out like walking my dogs, like traffic stops, like people pull up and like talk to
Yeah,
me. They're like, what are those things? Like, like pit bulls, like they're too big to be pit bulls. And I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, don't
Yeah.
ever get one of these, whatever you do.
They're like a different species, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
they're crazy,
Samson has
man.
one too, right?
Yeah, he does have one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What made you want to get those dogs specifically?
Well, it's funny, man. So I is my favorite dog breed. Like I had a friend in high school, and like we were just obsessed with like these dogs. Like we always wanted one. And then anyway, a few years go by, and one of my buddies, also from high school, started breeding them. Or no,
Wow.
he got one from the guy in Nova Scotia that I got Cedric from.
Mm.
So my buddy got one, and then this guy had another litter, and then I got in touch with him. And then basically with Cedric, what happened was I was supposed to get him when he was 8 weeks old, but when he was 7 weeks old, this guy was after docking the tails by himself. And anyway, the stud bit one of the puppies. He had to take the puppy to the vet.
Uh,
The vet noticed the tails were docked and called animal control on him.
uh,
And he told me he had to send me my dog earlier. I wasn't going to get the dog. So I said, okay, send me the dog. Cedric came. He was full of shit. He still had blood in his ears from when he was born. No
oh
food,
wow.
no water, not even a blanket in the kennel. It was just like a hard plastic
Damn.
kennel.
Oh
And
shit.
when I first opened the kennel to take him out, he was just growling at me and shit. Like he was just ready to fight, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I took him, and yeah, 6 years later, he's over there on the couch asleep.
Fuck. That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But yeah, and then so funny. Because
So
people
pretty
always
much you
say,
took them right from birth, or
what's that?
did you take them almost right from birth? Is what it sounds like.
Yeah, he was only 7 weeks old when I got him. He could
Oh,
barely
okay. So I
walk.
was gonna say usually you got to wait like so much. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this guy was just like a loser, obviously. And then
Yeah.
a couple of years go by, and like I know Cedric's just like really lazy dog. Like, you know, he was just always lying around. Like I took him for lots of walks, but he just didn't want to do anything. So I was like, oh, you know what,
Yeah.
I should get another one. You know, because I kind of wanted another one anyway. And I was like, I'll get him a friend. And then I got Rampage. Rampage is a really nice dog, but he's a lunatic. Like nonstop energy, always wants to play. Like
Yeah.
just stops. And now he literally just annoys the shit out of Cedric. Like, so I found out that Cedric actually, in fact, wants to just lie down and relax. And now he just has a huge dog that just pesters him all day to play. And he never wants to. So, yeah,
That's funny.
that was not because people always say, like, oh, get another dog. Get, like, having two dogs is
Right.
easier. It's fucking not, man. It's not
Twice as
easier.
much work.
Twice as much
It
work, twice
definitely
as much
depends on the
time.
compatibility, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a
Well,
guessing
and
game almost. You're like wishing that, you know what I mean?
yeah, and Cedric was so protective and aggressive. The first week that I had Rampage, I'd have Cedric on a leash in the house the whole time because he
Yeah.
kept trying to take him out.
Right.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was freaky, man. It was like I was like, what did I
Well,
do?
that was my
Like,
first questions when you said you got the second one, and you said Cedric was the crazy one, right? Or
yeah, the first one was a crazy one.
yeah,
The second one was the good one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, he hated him for the first week, and then one day he was just kind of like, okay, he can stay.
yeah. Accepted it.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
fuck. Man, like when I was like a little bit younger before I had Layla, like when I was younger, I always had dogs in the family, but I never had my own dog. So Layla was my
Mm,
first dog. I got her 6 years ago. But before that, I only had like cats and like ferrets and fucking like all weird animals like that. And one time I had these rats, and they were fancy rats. So I didn't know what that meant, but basically like these particular fucking rats, like they breed fast. So anyways, I had a girl and a boy, and like whatever. I went to school, whatever. Just let them chill. By like 2 or 3 days of having these things, they already had babies, or maybe it wasn't. It was like maybe weeks, 2 3 weeks, babies. Then another 2 3 weeks, those babies had more babies. At
Oh
that
man.
point, I realized what was happening, and like just the
Yeah.
whole house was just a disaster with all these animals because I had ferret, rats, I had a cat as well. So I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So what I did was, and this was probably not the best decision, but I took all of the rats and I just put them in the wild, and I just left. I just left them all
Oh,
there, and
like
yeah, and then I
I
said,
domestic.
mean,
and
they're
then I realized, oh, and then I had 4 cats because there was a point where I had two, and they were good cats, a girl and a boy, and then I was seeing someone who she brought her cat, and then we adopted a fourth one, and when we adopted the fourth one, he was a really mean cat, and he one time we came home and all of the cats were just bloody and there was just fur
uh,
everywhere. No more cats. All the cats were gone.
Holy
The
shit!
moral of the story is dogs are the only animal worth having.
I had I had snakes. I had snakes for a while, and
Snakes
oh
are
wow,
cool.
damn.
Snakes are
I had
cool.
one snake. She got really big, and she started escaping from her tank.
See,
No
that's what
matter
I mean.
no matter what I did, she would escape all the time. We lost her for a few days one
Damn,
time, and then
that's crazy.
my sister would go smoke weed in her basement at nighttime. And then one night, like at 2 a.m., I just hear my sister just
Oh,
freak out. She was going down the stairs, and the
oh,
snake was coming up the stairs. And the snake
oh,
is probably 6 feet long, right? Like, like that
oh.
thick. And I had to run down, and I was like, "Ah, Bonnie, where there you are."
That's pretty cool though. Having a snake like chilling with you in the house, like
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Did
was
you
chill. Like, they would never hurt you.
yeah.
did she actually know that you had a snake missing though? While
Oh,
she
she
was like
knew.
splazing? Oh, okay, okay. That would suck if you didn't know and you're like, what the hell is this? Like
Yeah,
six
yeah,
foot fucking python, whatever.
yeah. That would be crazy. That would be
Oh
crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
their snakes are pretty wild.
I had a bearded dragon. Those are cool actually too. You know, the bearded dragon lizards. Those are cool.
Do they
Oh
bite?
yeah.
They're like small. They're bearded dragons, but they're just like small lizards. They have like a little like beard thing, but they
One of my
fucking
friends
live for
used
a
to
long
have
time. Yeah.
one of
I
my
have
friends
one
used to have
bad.
those little go ahead.
No, sorry, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna say one of my friends had like have you ever seen those like little alligators? They're like this long.
We don't have those here.
Oh, maybe not in Canada. We probably won't let you like bring them in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's like people that have like little like alligators in their house, like almost like they're aquarium things, but they're like almost like I don't know, they're like almost like a pool, you know what I mean?
Right.
I
Why
don't
would
know,
you
like the
want
kid
that?
had it like back in the day. Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy.
That thing
And they
gets
can grow
out.
to get like really big. Like if it's like I think they're like one of those reptiles that like only grow as big as their environment or something. So I guess they can get like bigger if you like want them
Oh,
to, you
true.
know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, the more you
Yeah.
feed them, man, that's like a lot of reptiles. Like the
Yeah.
longer
Yeah.
they live, the more they eat, they just keep growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The bearded dragons are like that too. Because they
Monitors are
can
like,
be
That's
really
crazy.
big in the wild.
yeah, monitors, shit like
That's
that.
crazy though. Oh, dude, fuck, man. One time, I used to really love ferrets. Okay, they were just so cool, like fun to play with and shit. One time, I had this ferret. His name was Flexitron Rodent. Sorry, Flexitron Rodent. Okay? I'm sure you guys get the reference. But anyways,
Yeah.
so I had him, and he was chilling in my apartment, and my fucking landlord just let him like outside. She was like, "Oh, I let your ferret out." I'm like, "He's
What?
gone." I was so
Yeah,
upset.
right. What
Yeah, I
the
was like,
hell?
he's gone. Like, he doesn't understand. He's a fucking ferret. Like,
I know. I feel like most people know that. Like,
yeah. Like,
That's
oh,
so
just let
funny.
your
She thought
ferret
he was
out.
like
I'm
a
like,
dog.
all right.
So let him at the
Fuck.
pee.
I was
yeah.
so sad, man.
Whose ferret is that? Oh, that's just our neighbor Robin's ferret, just chilling around with the local cats.
Man, I don't know why. I was obsessed with ferrets. When I was like 7 or 8 years old, we had a neighbor who had a ferret. Its name was Voodoo, and it was white. And me and my stepbrother, we begged the guy, the owner. He was like some other kid. He was like probably like 15 or 14. And we begged him to like, could we come over and like play with Voodoo? And he was like, yeah, for sure. Like, you got to give me some of your Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And we're like, all right, cool. So we like gave him like some of our fucking things, like expensive shit, whatever, expensive when you're a kid. And he's just like, okay, cool, yeah, you can come tomorrow. We come tomorrow. He was just like, nah, man. We were like, what the? Yeah,
He just
That's messed up. You really want to see that
yeah,
ferret?
he scammed me, man. He used my love for pets and fucking he played me.
Do we get any questions? Did you get any questions on the Q&A?
Yeah, I got a couple. Yeah. Let me see.
I got some too, I think.
Yeah. Okay. How often do you practice posing in prep and in off season?
Fuck, almost every day in prep.
Yeah.
Not off season. It's like, yeah, very early, honestly, except for check-ins. I don't really
Yeah.
practice it. I don't know. I just feel like my physique changed so much. So it's like, okay, like, I don't know. I guess I probably could, but I definitely this year posing way more in the off season. I'm very guilty of that guy. I mean, it's like for me, it's like, okay, I don't really want to see my physique, at its like when I'm like trying to cut down, but that's when you have your energy, right?
Yeah.
Because like you're like, look, I feel like I look like crap. And then when I do look good, I don't have the energy. You know what I mean? Like that's what I was like in my past, that's what I faced with. But now I'm starting to like, okay, understand I need to practice posing like pretty regularly at this level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
think we're all
but yeah,
kind of there
I've definitely
now.
been guilty. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely been guilty
I
of it
think we're all
in
in
the
the same
past.
spot where we've put in the time for prep, obviously, because we were able to get to this point. But now it's like, well, what's the next level? Doing it all the time, doing it more than we've ever done, which it's fucking hard to do, but that's how you get better.
Yeah,
Um, I think most guys, just if for the question's sake, I would say you should practice posing in the off season minimum once a week.
Yeah,
And
we
that's
should be
like
taking
yeah,
not just including check-ins. Sorry, what'd you say?
yeah,
well, that's what I said. I said you got to be
Oh,
taking pictures every week, but yeah, man, I think taking the time after a couple workouts a week to hit poses for 10 minutes is not going to hurt you, but it's going to keep that neurological connection going with the poses. It's like you're not going to lose them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You don't want to go all off season 6 months to a year with no posing, then you got to teach yourself how to pose again. And
mm,
especially the leg conditioning, man. Like being able to hold your legs, like that's something that you should be doing all year because it's going to be so helpful in contest prep. And when you finally compete, like you just want to be on stage and have your legs flexed like the entire fucking time. So
yeah.
you don't want to lose
Well,
that condition.
I know Antoine to win his last show, was it Tampa, right? He posed every day for 9 months. So
damn,
like obviously like you have to put in the time and the effort, right? It's like, and yeah, like
right,
10 minutes post workout, that's the minimum. Like that's like you're
yeah,
doing your job, but you're just barely doing it.
yeah,
That's the way I look at it. Um, and regardless, doesn't matter. Like whether that's part of your job, regardless of whether you enjoy it or not. It's just part of being a pro now,
right.
right? You do your posing practice, you fucking do it hard. Like you don't fuck around with that.
Why do you want to be known as a guy who doesn't pose good? Like it's just I don't understand. Like
Right.
that would bother me. Like if people were saying that about me, it would bother me so much that I would just automatically become a good poser.
Dude, nowadays you get one picture or one video, you're
Yeah.
letting the fucking bubble gut, game
Right.
over.
Game over.
Yeah.
Not
The
actually, but
Fred.
like, you get
Uh,
exposed quick these days, right?
yeah.
So
Oh
Talking
yeah.
about you for a couple weeks at least.
exactly. There's gonna be at
Yeah.
least one video on fucking Nick and BS saying whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Any hacks to dealing with hunger on prep?
I mean,
I mean, I definitely use more caffeine than I probably should during the day, at least. Cutting your water a little bit shorter, like 2 hours before you go to bed, I find helps. A lot of people get like peeing during the night and then it's hard to sleep. You know what I mean? Go back to bed. Um, I don't know. I mean, obviously you're going to be hungry. So it's one of those things like you just sort of have to understand it's okay to be hungry. Like using the dog analogy again, like, a dog eats only two times a day, 3 times a day. You know what I mean? Like, and they're probably hungry, but they do it.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a mental thing to become okay with being hungry. And
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
just need to acknowledge that if you're hungry, your body's probably burning up body fat as fuel, and that's your goal. So if you're going around and prep all the time and you're not hungry, you should probably be worried. You know,
Mm.
Yeah.
you're not thinking that like things aren't really happening. So I don't know, fucking drink a Diet Coke, drink some coffee, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what helps spread out your meals, you know, even split your meals up if you have to a little bit. Like, you know, maybe if you have your veggies from your chicken and rice meal half an hour before you eat your chicken and rice, like even if you have to do that to keep yourself satiated for longer, like I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, it's not for everybody, but at the end of the day, if you're just getting the same amount of food in, you know, do whatever it takes to keep you on track.
Yeah, I know there's a million ways. Like people always
Try
want
to
like hacks or tips or tricks or whatever. It's like, yeah, just like you guys said, first of all, if you're hungry, like just go and do something else. Like just sitting around being hungry, like you're just gonna be hungry.
Yeah,
Just
you got to keep your mind occupied.
yeah, just do like a dog does and take a nap. Or but sometimes what I do is like I'll just go for a walk and just do something active, or I'll go for a drive,
Right.
or I'll go to the gym, like just to do nothing. Just go to the gym and stretch a bit because at least you've done something, and then you go back home and you can
Yeah.
eat again. Like just find
go to the
things to
Right.
do to keep your mind
yeah,
off of it, keep yourself like just busy as much as possible. Um,
go
I
to the
mean,
grocery
really,
store.
like, yeah, hey,
Go to the grocery store when you only need one thing.
yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, if you're really hurting and you're gonna, you're on the edge, eat a fucking celery stick. Like, I don't know. Cucumbers and mustard. There you go.
Eat a bowl, yeah, a bowl of lettuce and mustard. That's what I was gonna say. Like
100%.
Yeah.
I've
it's
done
better
that.
better
Just
than eating a bunch
lettuce
of
and vinegar and mustard.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
Yeah. Whatever it
It takes
takes, like
time
you said.
out here.
Yeah, what you got?
For questions?
But also, like you said, I think that was a good point, is that just changing the way your perspective is on being hungry, because people think being hungry is a bad thing, but it's actually a great thing for you. For your
Right.
health, it's great because you're detoxifying. You don't ever detoxify unless you're hungry. Because if you're ingesting food and you have food inside you, you can't detox. You have to be empty of shit to
Well, if you
start
think
getting
about it,
rid of
like
shit.
humans are the only ones that have an overabundance of supplies. You know what I mean? But like all other animals in the animal kingdom, like
Yeah.
are fighting and like scaving for like and probably starving like all the time.
Because
You know what I
also,
mean?
yeah, dude, because when you're hungry and starving, guess what else happens? More adrenaline, you're more focused
Right.
and awake and aware and better thinking,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, definitely.
That's one of the best things about prep sometimes. Like you can be so much more productive because you're not just
Yeah,
like
definitely.
eating meals all day long, because your meals take
Yeah.
30 seconds now instead of like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
And you're not just
for
like
sure.
full all the time. So you don't feel like moving, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. Just you got
Or,
to look at the
here's
positives
another
because
here's another good tip you guys will like. Eat so much in the off season that you can't wait to starve and prep.
that is a good tip. That is a good tip. Yeah, because we always get to that point, right? We're always like, fuck, man, I can't wait to die. Now I'm like so fucking sick of
Yeah.
food.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, when I first started bodybuilding, I had an eating disorder and I thought that I would never feel satisfied.
You got the eating disorder from bodybuilding?
Before bodybuilding
Right.
actually helped me, because then when I did a real off season, I was like, oh, this is what it's like. I actually don't want to feel like this all the
You're like,
time.
it's okay. Yeah, yeah.
But when you have the eating disorder, you're like, oh, I really need to feel that full. But like, why? Just like a weird. It's just because you starved yourself for so long or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you pushed yourself so far that your brain was like, okay, now we need this.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it would be. Just
I just enjoyed food way too much before bodybuilding. Like I just like let myself eat whatever I felt like eating, and it was just like a lot of junk food, a lot of fast food, stuff like that. I was always really active. I
Yeah.
was working stuff, but I was always kind of chubby just because of how bad my diet was. Like I would eat like a Delissio pizza every day. Like
dude,
Oh, hot
that's how,
pockets are my shit.
that was like me.
yeah, man. And then I did my first bodybuilding show, and I did macros, but it was with a guy who gave me this like entire food chart, like Excel document, which was actually awesome because like you put in the amount of food that you wanted to eat, it would show you the macros
Oh,
for it.
nice.
But it worked. So it taught me like that one prep I did taught me so much about nutrition, and that I had to eat like clean whole foods and not starve.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
hated vegetables, but I got so hungry that I started eating
Yeah.
them. The only thing I could eat, and then
Right.
that's like that, and then it kind of just went from there. But that like when I showed myself that I could change my body with how important the food was, like it made me believe like, okay, diet, like, yep, diet matters a lot. Like, like
Yeah, right.
and it just flipped that because I wanted to look good so bad. It just like I wanted to look good more than I wanted to eat pizza. So then
That's a
all
that's
the
a
eating for pleasure went out the window for me kind of then.
that's
Yeah.
a funny thought though. Like anyone that doesn't like vegetables, like go through a prep and then tell me, you know what I mean? At the end, if you
Yeah, I
didn't like
know.
them during prep, right?
You
Yeah,
fall in love with vegetables, man.
you're gonna love
Yeah.
them, man. You're
Yeah.
gonna
Dude, zucchinis.
peppers, bro.
Oh yeah. Bell
Yellow
peppers.
yellow peppers on the pan for long enough, they get nice and sweet.
Dude, I'm on the green peppers right now, man.
Yeah, green peppers are good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do a
little
little
spicy
green
peppers.
pepper, a little bit of mushroom, some zucchini.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
Can't go wrong.
yeah. I like how we always just end up talking about food. Like
Nah,
no matter where we start, no
that's
matter
gonna
where
be
we
For the next
start,
trend,
10
yeah.
yeah.
it always
It's
ends
only
up
gonna
with
get
food.
worse from here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the next couple months.
When was your last cheat meal, Robin?
My last cheat meal was I haven't had one this prep.
Damn.
I had a
Nice.
cheat meal, but I just weighed out sashimi and had sashimi and I weighed out rice because I'm like, I don't want what am I gonna have a cheat meal for? I just that was like two
Yeah.
weeks in, I think. And he told me to have a cheat
Yeah.
meal. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have sashimi and rice. He's like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, all right. And then he asked me if
Yeah,
I wanted another one. I'm like, I don't need one. Don't give me cheat meals. I don't want them.
yeah, they're too much of a mind fuck.
Yeah,
I just want to do high days if I need to eat more.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. It just yeah, like you said, like yeah, will I lose the show if I have a cheat meal? Fucking
Yeah, like
no, obviously not. But just for me mentally and like for my gut and the way that the gut brain axis that I'm aware of within me, the way that it works, cheat meals are not very good for me. So the best
Yeah.
thing is let's just not have them at all and just make them not an option. That's
And
basically
honestly,
just
it's
like
like for me, like at this point, I would rather just have more volume of food in my 6 meals than like all day anticipating like one like
yeah,
big meal, that's gonna be over in 5 minutes because I'm gonna
yeah.
eat it so fast. Like,
And honestly, that's how I've pretty much done like 99% of my preps. No cheat
right.
meals, just have refeeds.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
It
I won't
doesn't
lie, I
feel
usually have a cheat I have a cheat meal usually every week, but that's just always how we've sort of done it, I guess. I don't know, and
it's
it
okay.
works. So
It's okay. Keep doing it.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, keep doing it,
If it
man.
works for you, keep going.
Yeah, yeah. You guys are like, keep
100%.
eating cheat foods. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
See you at New
yeah. You
York.
should try to do. You should try to do two. You should try to do
Nine and a
two in
half
one
weeks.
week,
Keep going
bro.
though. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Listen to your coach. Listen to your coach.
So we know that how many guys are doing Toronto? Three of us and Jason. Is that what we know?
Oh, Gabriel actually said Hussam Mustafa is supposed to do it, but I don't know if that's 100% or not. But
Oh, let's
Yeah.
go, Hassan. It's fucking on.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be
but that's
good.
the first like big name that
Better
I've
keep that
heard like
waist tight.
in any of these.
Yeah.
What'd you
That's
say,
the
Nate?
first big name that I've heard. That's the first big name that I've heard though out of like I haven't really heard anyone that's like like an Olympian guy or whatever.
Cool.
What about you guys?
Maybe Joel Thomas will come back. No, I
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
heard anything, honestly. I haven't heard anything.
What show is Ian doing? Do you see said anything or no?
No idea.
I think he's doing one
All
live.
I know is I know Quinton is competing next year or later this year, but probably next year. And Antoine's competing next year. So yeah.
Quentin's waiting a whole year, and he's with Jansen now, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be crazy.
He's looking better, like way better.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looks absolutely massive.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever they're doing now, it's fucking working. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt knows what's
So
up.
that's the crazy thing, man. Honestly, like with bodybuilding, sometimes you just have to keep doing the same shit over and over and over again. But sometimes having like a big change can be exactly what you needed.
yeah,
Totally, man.
definitely.
You gotta get out of your comfort zone sometimes,
You do, but
Yeah.
a lot of people try to jump those changes like quicker than necessary. That's kind of one of the things about bodybuilding. You have to be patient, like on your grind.
So
You have to grind it out for a while, and then you can level up.
yeah.
You know.
Sometimes too, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I feel like people they work with the same coach for a while and they might get like comfortable or they're I don't know, like obviously I don't know, like I'm just sort of speaking off of my mind, but sometimes people get like a close friendship too, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And then they switch to a different coach and it's like they might just be more regimented with that new person, almost like I got to prove to this person,
That's
etc.
right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sometimes people change a coach and then all of a sudden like they're being, not saying that's Quentin, but I'm just saying they're way more diligent with this new coach, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know
Yeah.
what you're saying. 100%.
Personality types too, right? Because some coaches are more like drill sergeants, some of them are more like,
Yeah.
oh, good job, and like sometimes certain people need more of one or the other. So, but I think yeah, like a good coach should be able to kind of adapt, and a good client should be able to accept both praise and criticism. And you need a balance of both, right? Like I didn't want to have a
Yeah.
coach that would just tell me like you look good all the time. I'm like, that just pisses me off. I'd
Yeah.
rather you just tell me like I look like shit and tell me what to work on. Because telling,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
like that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I get like my opposing coach Alyssa's like that. Like she's so straight up with me. Like she noticed something like ab control. Like literally like the second posing session we did, she like cut it short because my abs were like control was so bad. And she told me to start working on the week before, and I never. And she was basically just like back, like go do your homework and then come back, and then we can, you
yeah,
know. And they just like set a fire like under me. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that
right.
I don't want to. That's not going to happen again.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's what happened to me last week too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I kind of showed up like kind of unprepared for my posing session. I kind of had a for the routine aspect. I was like, it's not ready yet. Like, let's see what you got. I'm like, okay, go work on that. Show up this week, much better. Like, okay, like yeah, I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that, but that's again, I don't think you should get praise until you've actually done something.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, it should be more just like a like some praise, like that's good. Now let's do this. But
Yeah, I think you need to be your hardest critic. Like you have to be. Like you need to be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
You know
well,
what I mean?
ultimately,
Definitely.
you're paying someone to give you the eye. So if they see someone and they hold back, then they're not doing their job.
Right.
And if they don't see it, then they're not good at their job. So
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it can be tough, and I find it gets tougher. Like the more advanced you get, and the more you know. Like you know what I mean. Like you
Yep.
kind of because I'm a coach. You know what I mean.
Yep.
And then sometimes I'm in situations where it's like if I had a client in this situation, this is what I would do, and my coach wants to do something different, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is against my instinct, but I'm paying you to think for me, so I'm going to do what you say.
Exactly.
Right.
But it doesn't mean it's easy mentally to do it, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. All right. Any more questions, or should we call it?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah. You always got to go. Where do you got to go?
Where are you going? Oh, sure.
Yeah. Where are you going?
I have a meeting in 11 minutes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do. I swear.
Business meeting.
Business phone consultations, bro.
Yeah. Damn, bro. You're grinding.
Dude, I don't stop grinding, man.
Yeah. All right.
I'm just
Well,
fun.
my day's over. I'm gonna go chill then. I'm gonna go chill.
All right, guys. That's good as always.
All right, boys.
Yeah.
Have a great one. We'll talk soon.